Hey everyone, welcome in. Now in this video, we're going to talk about how you can crack Apex in terms of the eval portion, the funded portion, and how to get consistent payouts using their trade copier and to really milk this platform. So let's get into it. So the first thing that we want to do here, if you're a complete beginner, I'm just going to give you like a brief summary. So to start here, these are the 50K accounts. This is with Tradeovate, and you have the 250K accounts. Now you guys are probably wondering, why are they both, $167 a month? Well, currently they are running a 90% off sale. So, and these are actually, 90% off of 167. So that's $16.70 per account. And if you use code Nick, this will always get you the best discounts possible on these firms. So code Nick gets you these two accounts for $16 a month and 80% reoccurring. So it would be $32 on month 2 if you don't pass. But don't worry, I'm going to show you guys how exactly to pass. I'm going to give you two options how to do it. Now the profit goal on these are $3,000 and the max you can lose is $2,500. However, if let's just say, for example, you're up $1,000 on a open position and that position comes back down $500, well, your drawdown is no longer $2,500 anymore, it's $2,000. So because you did not take profit at the highest you could have taken it. So if you took profit after it was already up $1,000, you took profit at $500, well, your drawdown's $2,000. It's not $2,500. So this is what's called trailing intraday drawdown. It kind of stinks, but don't worry, I'm gonna give you guys options on how to beat this so you don't have to worry about it. And you can trade these with TradingView, you can trade them with Tradeovate, everything. You can trade them on your phone. This is super great. Now, one thing that you probably notice is the profit goal to trailing threshold is pretty slim, right? So this is like almost a 1-to-1 ratio, whereas this one over here is like over 2. So you'd have to make 2 times your drawdown in order to pass. However, the difference between these accounts in terms of payouts is about $1,000. So the 250K account is $3,000 per account that you can withdraw, and the 50K is $2,000. However, if you have never traded Apex before, or you're just kind of starting out with them, maybe just do like the 50K and just try to get the payout, because the trailing intraday drawdown is something that will definitely take some getting used to. Now, scrolling up here to the $50,000 account, anything over $52,600 you can withdraw. So you take $52,600, and if you want to do the full $2,000 payout as quick as possible, all you have to do is get $54,100. And I'm sure you guys are probably asking, well, Nick, why didn't you do $52,600 plus $2,000? Well, because you can withdraw $500 into the buffer amount. So if you guys look right here, for a $50,000 account, we calculate the safety net is $2,500. This is your drawdown plus $100, which equals $2,600. A trader with this account reaches the balance of $52,600. The trader can request the minimum of $500, leaving the balance at $52,100. So that's why I only did plus $1,500, because you already got that there. Now, the downside to that is when you withdraw the $2,000, you only have about $2,100 left to draw down. But if you have a good trading plan and good risk management strategy, you should be fine. Now, the same thing here for the $250,000 account. This is a $2,500 plus $256,600. So $259,100, you can withdraw $3,000. And that will leave you with about $6,100 left in drawdown. And like I said before, if you guys have a good strategy, good risk management plan, you should be fine with $6,100 in drawdown to make $3,000 for your next payout. So really the main difference between the two is just the leverage and the profit to trailing threshold. So like I say, if you trade Apex before, maybe go with the 250Ks and get the extra $1,000 payout per account. Or brand new to trailing intraday, maybe do the 50K full. Now moving on here to how to pass the evals. One thing I like to do is to trade aggressively, give myself 3 to 4 trades until you pass or fail. Well, why do I like to do this? Well, because when they're running those 90% off sales and the accounts are only $16, $25, $30, and like I said, that is different for each person because every person's financial situation is a little bit different. But for me, those are just, easy numbers. Now, the funded prop firm drawdown sizing guide, I like to stay in between this leverage to gamble on the evals because, like I say, they're only $16 for a completely new account. Or worst goes to worst, you can just buy like a $40 reset. And like I said before, the eval rules are $3,000. Don't lose more than $2,500. Pay attention to the trailing intraday drawdown. Now, number 4 here is no 30% consistency rule. But I'm gonna go ahead and explain the consistency rule because in the funded that will matter. And basically all it is your highest P&L day can't be more than 30% of the total profit. So if you make $10,000 across, 3 weeks of trading, your biggest day can't be no more than $3,000. And then number 5, these are 1 day to pass. And obviously this is how I like to trade the fundeds. Now, the only thing that's going to change is if you want to trade the actual eval, like how I recommend, is to trade it like you normally would trade your funded, but the only thing that's going to change is the risk because the accounts are so cheap. You want to knock them out as soon as possible because time is money, right? So you aim for a simple 2-to-1 risk to reward. You only take A+ setup. So just because it's 1 day to pass doesn't mean you need to pass in 1 day. Maybe there's 5 days of trading, and on the 5th day you find that A+ setup and you pass in 1 day. A lot of people get that confused. They'll buy the account on Sunday night and then Monday morning they want to rip the account just because it's 1 day to pass. But price action really isn't that good. And for me personally, my strategy, I like to give myself 2 trades per day max because I know anything past this, my mental capacity starts to wear out and my brain just kind of gets fogged. And number 4 here is to don't take partials, take the full TP at 2R. The main reason for this is because of that trailing drawdown I was telling you guys about before, right? So if you're up 1,000 and it comes back 500, your drawdown still goes up even though you made profit on it. So instead of having $2,500 in drawdown left, you have only $2,000, okay? And last but not least is the biggest profit day should be no more than 30% of your total balance. Basically, like I said earlier, if you make $10,000 over the span of 3 weeks when you're about to request that payout, or 2 weeks, whenever, the biggest day shouldn't be no more than $3,000. And this is my favorite thing to do here. This is option 2. This is expedite at news release. I like to take the max contracts. I sell a sell stop and a buy stop above and below the current price 1 minute before news release on CPI, NFP, or FOMC. So if we're trading right here, I'll set the buy stop right here. And then 40 points, let's just say 40 points I need to pass. I'll set the TP right here. And then I'll do the same thing here for if I think the market's going to go short, TP right there. So at news release, when it comes out, because these are very volatile news releases, CPI, NFP, or FOMC, they usually give you 200 points or 100 points at once. If it just comes down and hits my sell stop and the TP, I pass, right? So that's how I like to do them. I'm about to show you guys a video on that. And the main reason I like to do that is because these are cheap, especially during the 90% off sale. Only $16 for these 50Ks or these 250K accounts. And I live stream these for free in the Discord every news release we do. I usually start the stream around like 8:15. I'll put that link in the description. And I usually do like a little planning session about 10 minutes before it starts so you guys can, get like a refresher on how to do this stuff. And here is the video on how I do that. Now that I got these set, let me figure out where I wanted to go. Right around in there. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Shorts sold. Cancel this order if you did 2 of them. Now for the funded rules, the 30% negative P&L per trade is the biggest misconception across the industry right now. Is people think, oh, if your account balance is at $6,500, if I lose more than 30% in a day, which is right around 2K, I will lose my account. No, that's not true at all. So basically what that means is it's per trade. So yeah, if you hit, over 2K and your drawdown is $6,500 of the account balance, then nothing's gonna happen. You'll most likely just get flagged and you'll get like an email sent, something like that. You probably won't have your payout denied. Maybe some people have had their payout denied. If you have, comment that down below. But yeah, just remember it's on a per trade basis. So you can't lose more than $2,000, which is, if you have good risk management, this should not be an issue at all. You should be risking, anywhere between 500 to 750 per trade. So moving on here, the 30% consistency rule, all that is, right, is if you make 10K in one trading cycle, basically your max P&L day should be no more than $3,000. And number 3 here is, this is another big misconception as well. People think you can't make a 5-hour trade, otherwise Apex is gonna ban you. No, that's not true. Basically, if you went long right here, right, and your TP is right here at 1R, your stop loss cannot be all the way down here at negative 5R. Why would anyone want to do that? Like I say, I'm gonna move on now because I've never seen anyone get denied from that. So moving on here, number 4, you can withdraw anything over the drawdown plus $100. So remember this buffer amount, anything above all these amounts, you can withdraw every 8 trading days, okay? And number 5 here is every 8 trading days, you can request a payout, but only 5 of those days need to be $50 or more. So let's just say, for example, you made, $900 on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So that is a total of $2,700. That means the next 5 days you can just flip for $50 just to get to that payout cycle, right? I don't like to do this too much. I like to just wait for my setups to form, and I just don't really like to do it a whole lot. Now the next thing here is the trade copier. Now people are like, oh, well, why would you want to copy all those accounts at one time? Well, this is why right here. So this is one of my students, Kieran. And Kieran's been in the Discord for about a year now, but in the mentorship for about a month and a half. And he went from missing clean entries to over trading to now locking in $30,000 in payouts. Super happy for Kieran. And I'll link the program down below if you guys are interested in having one-on-ones to take your trading to the next level. Now I'm also going to link the Expediting trade copier right now. So guys, if you guys want to learn more about the Expediting copier, go ahead and click that link right now. And I just did a quick video on how to set that up and how to copy trade all those accounts at one time. Now, also, I want to show you guys the new dashboard here for Apex. This has been for about like 2 months now. I think they've had it. So basically, I cannot request a payout yet because of the 30% consistency rule. Okay, so my highest profit day is 40% of my total profits, which means I need to make more money in order for this to get below 30%. So when you're eligible for a payout, you can do the drop down box right here, and it will show like, $2,000 you can withdraw. You click request payout. Right? And then after you request it, we'll pull up either, hey, it's been submitted, or it'll show something like this. And if this pops up, just keep trading until this amount gets lower. It also tells you the day that you had that big day. And with Apex, as soon as you request that payout, you can continue trading. You don't have to wait. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video breaking down the Apex rules. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave them down below, or you guys can add me in my free Discord. And the 90% off sale is running until I think June 1st or June 11th. So use code Nick to get you the best discounts on all firms. That's going to do it for this video. I'll see you guys back here in the next one.